Hi, I'm Tracy Cook, the Director of Accounts Payable for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, and this is the presentation of the Accounts Payable procedures for the school year 2020 through 2021. On the PowerPoint, you'll see the list of the Accounts Payable technicians, what funds they handle. For example, Elizabeth Pigg, she's a senior technician. If you want to talk to her about Fund 5, you would give her a call. If it's Fund 2 with odd POs, would be Debbie, so forth and so on. Any of the funds that you want to question, you can call that technician directly. We'll start right at the beginning with purchase orders. Make sure you choose the right vendor. Many times there are vendors that sound alike, have very similar names. Please make sure you have the right vendor. We do have situations where the wrong vendor has been chosen, which causes problems with us paying the correct vendor. No ordering without a purchase order. Again, we have to have a purchase order before we order anything or have any work done. Please also limit the number of lines. If you have a lot of lines on your purchase order, remember, you're the one entering the requisition, you're the one receiving those, and then we have to match them up and pay them. Freight. You should always add freight to that, and it should be a soft dollar. And what I mean by a soft dollar, instead of doing one at $25, you would do 25 at $1. That way, if it comes in multiple times, you have the money there to pay this invoice $12 and this invoice $12. So again, freight should always be added if you're having something shipped. If not, you'll have to get a budget approval for the difference when the invoice comes in. And taxes are not a line item. Our system automatically adds tax to anything that comes in, so you don't have to add a tax line. In the past, we've had some secretaries add a tax line thinking, oh, I need to add tax to this. But if you make it taxable yes, the PO will automatically add the tax when the invoice is entered. Receiving. Make sure you receive timely. Again, our vendors want to get paid on time, so if you receive timely, we get the invoices in, we can pay them timely. And receive only what you get. In the past, there have been situations where a secretary's gotten something for a teacher and it's delivered to the teacher's room and they say, oh yeah, we got everything. So the secretary will receive everything. But when the invoice comes in, we're not billed for everything. So again, it's over-received because you didn't actually get that. So don't receive it unless you physically count it, you know the work's done, or you have a packing slip for that. Do not receive freight or taxes. Again, taxes are added in automatically, and freight, the accounts payable technician that's entering your invoice will make sure that they receive that freight for you so that you don't have to worry about that, because we know exactly how much the freight's going to be because it's on the invoice. If you do receive something in error, contact us immediately. That way we can get it taken care of right then instead of waiting 2, 3, 4 months or even wait till the end of the year to get it corrected. Let us know as soon as you can so that we can get it corrected for you. Invoices. All invoices need to be mailed and must be mailed to the main P.O. box. Right now with COVID-19, working remotely, we are accepting those to be emailed. If you want them to email them to you and then you get them to us, please contact me. You have my phone number. I will get you the information on where to send those invoices. Again, if they are mailing them, and we still ask them to mail them because the mail is running and we do get it daily. We have our technicians come in every day to get the mail, open the mail, and distribute it to our other staff members. Do not send us anything except for an invoice because, again, we have to pay for an invoice. Don't send us a packing slip, a quote, a sales order, anything like that. Make sure you do send us an actual invoice. And it's your responsibility to get credits for anything that you return or anything that's damaged. Again, we don't know what's returned. We don't know what's damaged. That's up to you. Make sure that you keep all your paperwork, get the RMA from the vendor, get it sent back, or get the credit. Once you get the credit, make sure that we get that in accounts payable so that we can get that taken care of, because once we get that credit in, that money goes back to your budget so that you can buy something else. Expense reports and check requests. Typed is preferred. If not, please be legible. My handwriting's horrible, so my staff is always making fun of my handwriting. So if you see some handwriting that's bad, please make sure that it is legible, that we can read it. They must be complete, including the address. We have to know where we're sending this, especially right now. We have a lot of people working remotely. If there's any expense reports or anything like that that needs to be taken care of, please make sure you have the correct address of where the check needs to be sent. Currently, most of our expense reports are going back to the courier. I know that a lot of people are not in the schools, and so therefore they like for them to be mailed to their home address. If you have any employee that wants that done, please let us know that in an email or write that on the expense report when it's sent in. Receipts. Receipts should be taped and not stapled. We scan every invoice when we enter it, and the scanners don't like staples. So tape it onto a scrap sheet of paper so that we can scan it when we send it in. Deliver to. If being picked up or sent to, again, this goes back to my earlier comment about make sure that we have the right address of where it's being sent to. If you want it sent to the school, we'll send it to the school. You want us to send it to a different address, we will send it to a different address. But please make sure that you do that. And please write that in big bold letters and highlight in yellow. And the reason I want you to highlight in yellow is because, again, we scan everything. Any other color, any of those pretty colors, the pinks, the blues, the greens, the oranges, they will turn black in our scanner and we won't be able to read anything that's under them if we ever have to look that invoice up again. So again, make sure it's legible and give us the correct address. Vendor setup. Always make sure that you get a W-9 first, regardless if you know the vendor's in the system, because they may have changed ownership or they may have changed their address. If you're setting some up, go ahead and get that W-9, especially for hotels. I know that we're not traveling right now, but when COVID restrictions are released and we start traveling again, we need to have that information up front. Hotels are very hard to deal with, so if you can get that for us, that would be greatly appreciated. They must complete the online application. That goes through procurement, and once it's verified in procurement, they send the information over to us. Need phone numbers for police officers, coaches. Anybody that's not a CMS employee that we're mailing a check to, if it is for work that they're doing for us, we really need to have that phone number, especially with police officers. They do change addresses quite a bit, and if that check comes back to us, we will call them to get the correct address, so you won't be bothered with that. We will make sure that we get the right address and get it in the system. So again, if you can get the phone numbers, that's great. If you can't, we don't really need them. It's not, that important, but it does help us contact them. And we need more time for hotels and restaurants. Again, hotels are hard to deal with. And with restaurants, again, going back to COVID, this changes a lot of things with our procedures, but this is not going to be permanent, and we will have to, adapt to it the best we can. Checks. All checks, again, are mailed to the address that's in the system, unless you ask it to be mailed somewhere else, or they're couriered for the employees. If they're being picked up or sent to you, again, please write bold letters and highlight in yellow. A few things. I know that we've been using Food Line for many, many years, and last year they said that they were going to be changing our purchasing program. Right now it's still the same way that we have always done it. You would create a purchase order for food. Again, with COVID, we're not doing anything to that magnitude that would require us to do that. But once our restrictions are released, then we'll start going back to how we operated in the past. Again, Food Line is a continuation of the process that we have right now. Jason's Deli, again, we're not using them at this time, but when we do get back to using them again, the delivery ticket that they deliver the food with is the actual invoice. Make sure it has a purchase order on it, send it to us. With AAA, we will continue the same process that we've always done. You will get the requisition, you'll call, get the quote, get the amount, get the requisition, give the requisition number to AAA when you order the tickets. Once the PO is processed, receive it, and we'll get them paid. Again, with COVID, we're not traveling right now, but once the restrictions are lifted, I'm sure that we will be. Hotels. Again, hotels are hard to deal with. Please, when you call to make reservations for your staff, when we start traveling again, get the W-9. Even if you think the hotel is set up again, hotels change ownership. Most of them are franchises. We need that W-9 up front. Make sure you get that. Send the check request in. All check requests go to budget first. They process them, they give them to us, and then we get them paid for you. And everybody knows what telecheck is. If you have a check going to a hotel and somebody's hand delivering it, and it's on a state check, our state bank will not give out any information on our bank account. So therefore, if the hotel runs it through telecheck, it will be denied. I've talked to many hotel managers and promised them that those checks are good checks. So again, when you call to make those reservations, make sure that hotel accepts checks. A lot of hotels recently are saying they're not accepting checks, and it's credit card only. So make sure that you find that out before you make your reservations. PTAs, PTOs, and booster clubs. They cannot use any of our CMS accounts. Again, this is mainly for the schools. If they're wanting to order something for us, and we appreciate all the work that they do for us and our students, and we thank them for that, but they cannot use our Staples account. They cannot use our Follett account. They cannot use any account that is a CMS account. They have to set up their own account, because we have a hard time with PTAs and PTOs not paying timely. So what that ultimately does, it falls back on CMS, and we're ultimately responsible for that. So make sure that they have their own account before they order stuff. And again, we handle the whole school district. So be patient with us when you're asking for things, because there are some times that we can't get back with you right away, but we will try our best to answer your question as timely and as accurately as can. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I will answer anything I can.